So is the death penalty biblical? You've probably heard about the deadly shooting of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. It's crazy and super sad. According to news reports, a 26-year-old man, Luigi Mangione, he allegedly shot and killed a 50-year-old man, Brian Thompson. Brian was a husband and a father of 2 sons. This father was walking down the sidewalk in New York City and he was shot in the backside 3 times. If Mangione is guilty of this cold-blooded murder, does he deserve capital punishment? Biblically speaking, does he deserve the death penalty? Well, based on the evidence that I'm hearing, and again, if he's truly guilty, yes. Biblically speaking, Mangione absolutely deserves the death penalty, and let me explain why. Genesis chapter 9, verse number 6 records, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man." Allegedly, Mangione shed the blood of Brian Thompson. Now, as a result, by man shall Mangione's blood be shed. That would be biblical justice. God is saying human life is so valuable that if you take a human life, you should pay for it with your life. And the end of that verse explains why. For in the image of God made he man. As Christians, the Bible teaches us to believe in the sanctity of human life at whatever age, because human beings are image bearers. Brian Thompson was an image bearer. This murder was an attack on Brian Thompson, but also it was defiance against God. The reports indicate that Mangione took the life of an image bearer in a premeditated, cold-blooded way. And if that's true, biblical justice requires that Mangione's life be taken by the governing authority. The government has the power of the sword. Therefore, capital punishment is their responsibility. Specifically, Romans 13 affirms capital punishment when it says that the civil authority beareth not the sword in vain. The sword, of course, is a lethal weapon. A judicial government is to execute wrath upon them that doeth evil. Mangione's alleged actions of slaying an image bearer are the actions of someone who is thereby forfeiting his own life. If the government was to find him guilty and sentence him to the death penalty, it would represent biblical justice. Now, I know that this premeditated murder happened in New York State, and New York is not a death penalty state. According to my research, 27 of our 50 states are death penalty states, but New York is not one of them. It doesn't matter what Mangione's issue was with the healthcare industry. I mean, it doesn't matter how valid it may or may not have been. Gunning somebody down in the streets is vigilantism, and it feels like an understatement to say that's unacceptable. Further, it doesn't matter how handsome Mangione is. Unfortunately, many people are infatuated with this murderer's abs. I mean, we live in a superficial society. Those people are infatuated with his overall look, and so they've taken up his cause. This is yet another example of the woe statement in Isaiah 5:20. Our society is full of examples of this. I mean, more and more in America, people are calling evil good and good evil. People are putting darkness for light and light for darkness. Those that have taken up Mangione's cause can't seem to tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. Now listen, even if Mangione were to receive the death penalty, Christians don't celebrate capital punishment. I mean, Ezekiel 33:11 explains that God shall have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, and as his followers, we don't either. Yes, if correctly convicted, if rightly convicted, Mangione deserves to have his life taken for taking the life of another. But by no means would it bring joy to anyone involved, but it would bring biblical justice. It's been rightly said that the death penalty should be rare and only used in the most egregious of crimes, but premeditated murder is at the top of that list. The point of this video is not specifically to highlight this recent shooting in New York City. That's just a current event example. However, the point is to give biblical principles about capital punishment. These principles apply to just about every premeditated murder situation. Because they're biblical principles, they are the will and instruction of God. And it is a difficult and uncomfortable topic for sure, and there's no joy to be found in it, but again, there is justice. So I speak all of this because I don't expect any of our politicians to say it. And sadly, some of them are basically saying the opposite of what I'm saying in this video. But more importantly, I speak these things for God's glory and for our society's benefit. A healthy society will have biblical consequences for evil such as this, and I want our society to be healthy. So comment below and let me know your thoughts, and please give this video a thumbs up for the sake of the algorithm. I'm James Johnson with Strength for Life.